Good evening. All right. Let's see. Okay, so everyone should be able to hear me. The music shouldn't be too loud. Okay. I think the music is down, right? Okay. It shouldn't be too loud. Hey, people on Instagram, join me on my YouTube live. What's up, what's up? My YouTube channel is in the link in my bio. Just click on the YouTube play icon. Then you should be able to see my YouTube channel. You'll be redirected to my YouTube channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with SPY here. Okay, so the markets staged an incredible pullback today after having a nice, incredible bounce. But you know, with this pullback here, I suspect that we go lower. I mean, this is a pretty bearish downtrend right now. I mean, if you just take a look at the daily time frame, right? I mean, we're down and we closed more than 4%, right? So that's something to really think about here, as you know, we see more selling possibly in the next few days, because this downtrend that is now starting up again, right? You know, off by today's actions. we can see kind of the low, I would say around low 370s to 375-ish. You know, I don't want to sound too bearish. You know, obviously people want to be optimistic in the markets, but realistically speaking here, we seem to have kind of lost control here to the upside. There's a lot more selling going on than I thought there would be. And it seems like people are just waiting. They're literally waiting on the sidelines when we have a bounce to get in short, right? And that's usually what happens in the bear market. But with increased volatility, there's this really wild swings like one. We just completely erased the gains that were made in the past 3 days, right? Past 3 trading days. So, you know, it kind of makes you realize that, you know, the market conditions can switch really, really quickly, right? And this is what I mean, right? These are market conditions that are very volatile. You know, you really didn't see this back in like 2017 or 2018. I mean, you know, obviously there's volatile days. I'm not saying there weren't any type of volatile days. That would be impossible, right? I mean, there's always a possibility of something happening that's unusual in the stock market, because anything is possible, right? But with these wild swings, right, you just have to understand the risk of the trades that you get into, whether it be day trades or swing trades or whatever it may be, you know, scalps, quick ins and out. You still have to realize that there's volatility present in all the different time frames. Okay, so, you know, for yourself to really understand what's going on in the markets, you have to realize that you need to be constantly thinking about, you know, knowing what your risks are, you know, doing a nice and actual logical risk assessment of that specific trade that you're looking at, right? So you always want to make sure that you're doing your best to know where your entry is, know where your exit is, and know where your stop loss is, right? It's one of those very most important things that that you need to understand before you get into a trade, especially with all these different, you know, volatility happening on all different time frames. So it's crucial that you understand, right, that even with these current conditions right now, you can still make money if you have the right mindset of knowing your entry, your exit, and your stop losses, right? I can't, I can't be more emphatic enough on that specific statement, right? You have to know that. So, you know, this is what I'm working. Yes, good, right? So, you know, a lot of people just continue to say that, oh, you just can't trade in this market, right? So frustrating. Yes, it's frustrating, but you can trade in it if you know what you're doing, right? So, you know, losses will always be there, right? I ended up with a loss today, a kind of big loss, but it was manageable risk, right? Which ended up being manageable losses. Does that make sense? Right? So, you know, even though I believe I lost more than half of the gains that I made in the past 3 days, right? You know, I'm not stressed. I mean, I knew what my risks were, right? I mean, I made the choice after doing a nice risk assessment, right? A logical risk assessment at that. So, you know, at some point in your trading career and journey, you have to understand that at the very least, you're doing an actual logical risk assessment that most people don't do, right? And you know, the market just failed to go and follow through with your risk assessment, right? Your own subjective risk assessment, and it just didn't work out, right? So that's too bad, right? I'm not gonna wallow in it. I'm not gonna freaking, you know, go like, oh, I'm such a bad trader because the market didn't follow my risk assessment. That's not it, right? You know, you just need to know where your stop loss is, where your entry and your exit is, right? And the market is either going to show you, you know, whether or not the market wants to hit your profit target, your exit, or whether or not it wants to hit your stop loss. That's it. Okay. So with that in mind, SPY here, right, on the daily time frame, we're still looking at a descending channel, right? And descending channels are, well, downward trending, right? So with a descending channel, right, it's a bearish chart pattern inside the channel, right? But in the overall sense, right, in the overall view, it is a bullish chart pattern, right? If you guys didn't know, a descending channel is a bullish chart pattern, and then the opposite side, an ascending channel is a bearish chart pattern, right? So obviously in an ascending channel, inside the channel, right, the trend is to the upside, which is why it's an ascending channel, right, not a descending. So a lot of people kind of get confused about the trends of what's going on. They wonder why a descending channel is bullish when the trend is to the downside, right? But usually, these chart patterns tend to break up to the upside, especially on a descending channel. But you have to also understand that the price can continue to go to the downside in this channel, right? I mean, take a look at this ascending channel, right? The past 2 years, we were just continuously going up and up and up, and just following this ascending channel until it decides to finally break to the downside, right? I mean, if you take a look at the monthly time frame here, right? This is the break of this ascending channel, right? And who knows how long this descending channel will continue, right? We just have to focus on the support levels that we have from the previous 2 years worth of data, okay? So now, where do I see the market going? Where do I see a potential bounce again? I'm seeing a immediate bounce around 385 to around 387. Okay, that's kind of a wide range, right? But the SPY has been moving a lot wider than that. So a 2-point move is not too a 2-point range is not too wide. So around 385 to 387 is what I'll be looking out for. I think with this type of action today, with this increased amount of volume as well, I personally was expecting a little bit more movement to the upside, at least another retest, an actual touch of this descending level of resistance. But overnight futures, we decide to sell off, right? So, I think it's I may have underestimated the market here of how much it can actually move to the downside. But with futures currently around, let's actually look at futures right now, actually. So futures are showing some type of an oversold bounce, because on all intraday time frames, we were kind of oversold when we ended on the day. And we're going to see some type of an overnight rally, at least. That's what I want to see, at least, before we start to reject again and head down again. But futures here has officially lost 4,000 today. Okay, so that was the whole number level that we were all looking at. Every single trader and their mother were looking at this. So I think it's essential that we just have to know that this level has been lost again, right? And there's most likely going to be probably maybe maybe the next month or so we might revisit it, who knows. But for now, we're still in a downtrend. I have to see some type of basing action in order to kind of confirm that we can't have another reverse to the upside and retest this descending level of resistance again. So okay, so as I was saying, with this type of action here, I don't really think that there's a possibility that we bounce anytime soon and break out of the descending channel. I don't sound too pessimistic, but I see further downside, and like I said before, right? I want to see a quick movement to the downside, right? I don't want an elevated movement to the downside, but that's what we've been getting so far, all right? And usually that means bear markets tend to stay a lot longer than usual when we have those type of movements to the downside. And it's something that's kind of frustrating to see, because you just want to see a nice swift crash, right? Well, not a crash, but a nice swift sell-off into support levels that are major support levels, right? So the faster the velocity of the sell-off, the better the bounce will be. Okay, and we've seen that multiple times in the past 4 years, right? I've been in the market for 5+ years. I've seen it, the past 4 years, and it's it's essential that if you want to get out of this bear market, we need to come down fast, quickly, in order to bounce back, right? A lot harder. So the next levels that you guys have to be watching out for tomorrow is a continuation to the downside, obviously. And that 385 to around 387 will be a crucial level that you have to be looking out for. That's a nice range that you need to be looking out for potential buyers to come back in. Why? Well, because if we take a look at the 2-hour time frame, okay, right. Let me just make a level right here. Okay, let me actually kind of make a rectangle here for you all. I'm gonna showcase what I'm looking at. Back around there. Okay, let me make that green to emphasize that it's a area for buyers, right? So 385 to around 387. Okay, so this is where we want to see buying coming in. And why? Well, because we saw it buying coming in this area. Right? Very simple. Right? We look at the past data, right? And this was what was this? What was this? Last Thursday? I think last Thursday, I believe. Let me see. So when we yeah, okay. So I was kind of having a brain fart there. So last Thursday is where we got that bounce, right? And this area right here just showcases that there's a possibility that we can have another bounce around 385 or around 387. Okay, and well, you want to know where I got that range, right? Well, right here, this wick at the bottom wick, we bounce around 385.16, right? And then on this wick, we bounce around 386.96, which we could round up to 387. Do you see how I made that range? Very simple, right? So, I'm basing off of the bounces that we had here, okay? So, based off these bounces, I'm going to expect some bars to come back in again and potentially give us a nice little tiny double bottom before rejecting, maybe around 394, and then coming back down again, okay, if the bounce is strong, right? So tomorrow, I'm expecting a little tiny market gap up, just slightly, okay, and then most likely another sell-off again. But who knows? Tomorrow we might just consolidate like this. Okay, you might just form a nice ascending channel, and then bam, and we go lower and then bounce. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying this is that, well, we've gone down, right? 3 consecutive red candlesticks, and guess what? We ended up with a green candlestick today, right? On the 2-hour time frame. So this is good. It's a healthy downtrend, right? I want to see, like I said before, right? There's a general golden rule where with candlestick chart patterns, you want to see if you want to see a healthy trend, whether it be, green or red candlesticks. When you have 3 consecutive red or green candlesticks, you want the 4th one to be the opposite color, because if it's not, then you get an unhealthy trend, right? So when you have the 4th candlestick forming and it turns out to be red or green, or which is the same, it could be the same candlestick color from the past, from the previous 3 candlesticks, that's usually a sign that the trend is starting to get very unhealthy. So I'm glad today we ended up with the 4th candlestick to be green, because I wouldn't want to see another red candlestick. Okay, so hopefully there's a good chance that we see some type of a bounce tomorrow, a little tiny gap up, so that we can start consolidating and forming a nice intraday bear flag, and then another break lower, which will be around 390.50ish. Okay, 390.50 will be your break, confirmed break to the downside, and we can head back down to that 385 to 387 support area that we're looking for. Does that make sense, everyone? Hopefully you guys all can hear me well. I'm pretty sure you guys can still hear the music, but my voice should be a lot louder than the music. Just give me a thumbs up, guys, in the chat if you guys can hear me. I'm pretty sure you should be able to, but if not, my apologies. Okay, it should be a good balance, hopefully. Okay. I just checked myself. Okay, perfect. All right. So with that, okay, with SPY here, that's kind of it for SPY tomorrow. This is what I want. This is kind of what I'm expecting to see. I'm not really gonna go into. You can barely hear the music though. Oh shoot. Okay. I do want you guys to hear the music since everyone enjoys the music. So maybe a little bit more. Okay, how about that? Here, let me even check myself. Oh, okay. We're good? Okay. Alright, we're good? Okay. Perfect. Alright, so, welcome everyone. Seems like people are finally getting my Instagram notification and YouTube notifications, so that's great. Great. And people should have seen my Twitter as well, my tweet that I am live. Okay, so, alright. So that's kind of it for SPY. I kind of want to go, I don't want to go over NQ or even QQQ. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. I expect the same thing tomorrow at just different levels. QQQ obviously is a little bit more, a lot weaker. But the levels that I'll be watching out for a bounce for QQQ will be 285. Okay, 285. Well, actually, that's the only level I'm looking at, 285 for a bounce. Okay, so it's kind of the same, right? SPY is 385 to 387. QQQ is 385. All right. So we obviously failed to hold the 295 here. So let's bring that back to the level here. Okay. All right. So with SPY, like I said, look out for a bear flag formation tomorrow on the intraday time frames. I'm looking at a 2-hour time frame. Like I said, this is a healthy downtrend. Why? Because we printed a fourth candlestick that was green instead of red, because the previous 3 consecutive candlesticks were red already. If the fourth one was red, that would have been unhealthy. Does that make sense? Hopefully it made sense, since I've mentioned that multiple times in my previous lives and what that golden rule is. So I expect us to bounce tomorrow. If we come back down to around 385 to 387 range. Okay, and for the people who are just joining, how did I get this 385 to 387 range? Well, very simple. I take a look at these 2 candlesticks, this one right here and this one right here, right? And I can see that they kind of bounced at a, similar area, right? In close proximity. Okay, and if you take a look at the wicks here, the first wick right here, where's the low of the wick, low of the day wick here pointing at? Well, it says 386.96, and if we round that up, that's 387. And there we go. We have our maximum range for our current range that we formed, the support range. And then our minimum range will be, minimum price, for our range will be, well, on this candlestick. And if you take a look at the low of the day of this candlestick is 385.16. So I just rounded it down to around 385, even though that doesn't make sense. There's a whole number, right? I just want an easy number to work with. 385, 387. Done. Alright, so that is your support range that we can potentially see a bounce by the end of this week or by tomorrow, depending on how far we go to the downside. Alright, and so far futures is showing a nice bounce because intraday time frames were, well, they were oversold. So I wouldn't be surprised, okay, if we have a little tiny gap up tomorrow. Just a little tiny gap up. Okay. But obviously the sell-off is really crazy. Today we sold off more than 4%. We closed at more than 4%. So that's amazing to see. Okay. So let's take a look at the energy sector, XLE. Okay. So XLE is pretty incredible here. You know, the broader markets brought most of the sectors, if not all, down. All right, but energy is still staying at all-time high levels. Okay, which is why for my CFO Streaming Watch members and in the Safer Discord, I brought I brought in a play for them, a long-term XLE play. Excuse me, XLE trade here. I won't tell you what it is if you guys are not in the CFO Discord, but to all my people who are watching right now on this live and who are part of the community, you guys should know which trade I got for XLE, and XLE actually had a better bounce than the overall market at close here as well. So who knows? We might reach that strike of the contracts that I'm playing. Okay, so for XLE, this might just be a great, even a hedge to the overall market, just because of the fact that we are seeing such a great uptrend here. It kind of looks like SPY 2 years ago, right? We were just forming that nice ascending channel here. Right. If you guys don't see it, let me just draw it off very quickly. Oops, let me just bring that to green. Okay. So now seeing a nice, I don't connect it with that one. Okay. Nice ascending channel. Right. So I don't expect energy to fall and break below this ascending channel anytime soon. Okay. Why? Well, because I mean, energy, there has been no fundamental, news or catalyst that are really telling us that oil is going to go down or anything in the energy sector is going to go down yet. So, I'm not going to say that energy sector is bearish, because it's not. The technical charts are telling me that it's very bullish. Why? Well, because we're still staying near all-time high levels. Okay, so that's something you guys should be watching out for. Let's take a look at SE. So I'm surprised. SE, right? I looked at this yesterday with you all. It's a Chinese e-commerce social media giant, I think. Overall tech giant, I think, right? But the investors were really focusing on the e-commerce sales and revenue on their platform yesterday at earnings after hours. So obviously earnings didn't move much, which is why we ended up opening near the close and open of yesterday, and then we sold off, because the overall market was selling off. But SC here, I expect to move to the downside more. Why? Well, because right now the overall Chinese markets, Japanese, Chinese markets are all going down. Okay, they've all opened up to the downside, and they're bouncing so far. However, okay, like I said, they're just oversold, and that's why they're just having an oversold bounce. And tomorrow we can most likely see a continuation to the downside. All right, because today was the day that we started this new downtrend again. So SC could be a nice play below 74. All right, if we break 74, or at least the low of the day today, which is 73.27. So I would say a break of 73.10 will be an entry. That will be a great break to the downside for a short play. You can even reach to maybe around 68, 69. All right, that'll be a great risk to reward right there if it does do that. But I'm surprised this name didn't have another big jump in volume today, even if it sold off. That's the most interesting thing I thought about this name today when I was looking at it when the market was live, was that we actually got lower volume compared to yesterday, right? And earnings came out after hours, so I was expecting more volume today, except we didn't even break the average volume today, right? The volume today was 8.86 million, while the average was 9.56 million. Okay, so it makes you wonder that maybe traders and investors are not looking to sell this name just yet, just to follow with the overall market sentiment, and maybe this might even move to the upside. Who knows, right? I mean, names like UPSD, right? UPSD, we went over this as well, right? This one absolutely moved inverse to the market, right? And guess what it did? Guess what it did today, right? When I mentioned it last night, we came up and retested the 10 SMA here, right? And it rejected. So it did 2 of the 3 things that I mentioned yesterday. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go take a look at yesterday night's live, right? So the third parameter that I want to see is to come back above the 10 SMA and hold the 10 SMA, right? And UPST, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. We've had a pretty unhealthy movement to the upside, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive green candlesticks to the upside. I need to see a nice red candlestick printed tomorrow, which we will most likely see. I mean, we rejected off the 10 SMA, which is telling us that, well, the 10 SMA is still acting as a level of resistance. Okay, so hopefully we can see a nice red candlestick printed, and who knows? With this nice big run up, you might even see a flagging action and completely ignore the overall market action to the downside, or we're just going to succumb to the market action to the downside, and this will start falling below. Today it was a great, nice run up. I said that I want to see around 50s prices today, and guess what? We reached the 50 range here, and we even went up all the way to $53. So, hopefully tomorrow we can see a nice downtrend back to the downside to around $44, and bounce from there and see a nice flagging action. Okay, and I'll keep this on my radar because of the fact that we've been moving inversely to the market for 5 consecutive days. Okay, so this has strength. It has a lot of strength. Okay, and the next Chinese name or Asian name I want to look at is YY. So this was in the CFO Streaming Watch newsletter for the past few weeks, on and off. But this has been making a really good range. I mean, if I take all the drawings off here, just even take off the SMAs, right? For the past almost 2 months here, right? YY has been just going up and down, up and down. The price hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't had a nice strong trend to the downside. It hasn't made a strong trend to the upside. And that's what a consolidation base is. And usually when stocks decide to, individual stocks decide to decouple from the market, they start to either move inversely to the market, right? That's one scenario, right? They either move inversely to the market, or two, right? The second scenario here, they tend to start basing. They tend to start consolidating. They don't go with the market. They don't follow the trend of the market, right? So, hey, hello. Looks like my significant other, my girlfriend, is here on my live. Seems like she's learning as well. So, I'm away from home. If you guys don't know, I live with my girlfriend, so very thankful for that. But I am away right now. But with this YY, I expect to see continuation of this basing price action here, basically, right? I mean, why not? Because it's been doing it for the past almost 2 months. So, we also have earnings coming up as well. And this name is if you guys don't know this is a Chinese social media giant. So this is another tech giant that does everything. Basically, it touches everything on the social media space in China. And they've been reporting some pretty good numbers here and there. They're actually really doing well with all that, tech crackdown and regulatory fines that the Chinese government has been putting on their private sector and all their private companies. So YY is really doing well fundamentally as well. So hopefully with their next earnings coming up on May 26th, or I guess it's not confirmed yet, but with earnings coming up soon, I think if the earnings are good, we can finally break out of this base that I've been looking at for the past few weeks. Okay, so hopefully we can see a nice breakout, but this is a name that you want to be looking at because of how strong it is and how much it has already decoupled from the market by following that scenario 2, where it's basing and consolidating, right? Completely detached from the market action. Hopefully everyone can still hear me. I hope the music is not too loud. Okay. Wow, we have 5 likes already. Thank you all. I didn't even ask you guys for likes, and you guys gave me likes. Thank you all for giving those likes. And I know 5 more people have subscribed to the YouTube channel, so welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Like I said before, guys, I don't, I don't do any advertising or anything. I just like to do what I like to do, and I just let people speak about what I do. Just word of mouth, right? And I just really wish that more people will continue to find Charts Focus On and see what we do, right? And become a part of the community that we have here. So thank you all for really the past few months or even the past few years of support since Charts Focus On has even started. So thank you all very, very much. So the next thing that I want to look at is home builders, right? XHB, right? This is also on the CFO Swing and Watch newsletter a few weeks back, or maybe like two weeks back, I think. And it seems like the short trigger was the short entry was triggered today, and I expect XHB to continue to go lower. If you take a look at names like HD, right? I mean, this is completely. I mean, this looks awful, right? If you also take out Lowe's, it also looks awful, right? So, if you take a look at, let's see, CF Industries, also looks awful. Okay, how about Builder, right? Also looks awful. Oh, actually, this one looks like a very, very good short tomorrow as well, right? Nice support area to break underneath. Maybe a good short will be below 62 tomorrow for BLDR. This will be a nice short tomorrow. Okay, but XHB, I expect the entire sector for home builders to continue to the downside. Okay, so the next support will be 57.50ish around 57.70ish. Okay, like the level says right here. So hopefully, we can see a continuation to the downside in the overall markets, so we can grab some nice puts in the morning, especially if you have a nice gap to the upside. All right. And guys, if you guys are wondering why I'm sniffling, yes, my sniffles are back, and this sickness is not going away. The symptoms are still lingering here. I don't know why, but who knows? Who knows why it's lingering? But yeah, that's it for tonight, guys. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for the likes. All right, thank you all for even coming in here to watch what I do for you all. And really, just thank you all for even subscribing and watching these lives every single time I am live, and taking time out of your, nightly routines, whatever you guys might be doing. So thank you all very, very much. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time. I'm tending to kind of do these lives a little bit later, maybe around 8 o'clock, because most people are comfortable at their houses, chilling. So I want to catch these everyone at a good time, right? When they're not busy at work or coming back from work or even eating. So I wish that everyone can see these lives when it's the most optimal time for them, right? But yeah. If you guys are not in the CFO Swing and Watch newsletter or in the CFO Discord, make sure you guys get in. I have a code that you guys can use. It's 5 off, right? The discount code is 5 off. You guys can use it. You guys, just have to take opportunity, right? I always tell you guys about the discount code. So if you guys do want to use it, use it. If you don't want to use it, well, I don't know why anyone would not use it, but if you guys don't use it, well, that's on you. If you guys don't want to use it, that's your choice. That's your decision to make. But if you guys really want to join, if you don't know where to go, take a look at the description box below on this live, or just go to chartsfocus1.com and take a look at the website. All the links are there. Okay. But I'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right. Have a good night and good luck trading tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in the CFO Discord. Thank you all for joining.